Part 124. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1232. But most of the magic power in Lily's body was consumed, and her physical strength began to run out. Even if she desperately stuffed snake meat into her mouth, most importantly, although the Wolf King was already showing signs of fatigue, she killed him in this way. There were injuries all over her body. After being delayed for such a long time, what she was most worried about was that someone was coming towards her. After all, such a big noise as killing the Wolf King himself would be heard by others as long as they rushed to the Wolf Cliff. In addition, the Wolf King is not easy to kill, and she cannot be killed in a short period of time. If someone comes to snatch her, it may be hard to say who will kill her. She was really afraid of what would come. A moment ago, Lily was worried that someone would come over, but as expected, a group of people came over behind her. "Overlord, this way," a man's voice sounded excitedly. When Lily heard the voice, her heart sank, and then she frowned. The Wolf King was still chasing behind him, and a group of 3 or 4 people chased him out of the damaged woods. "He's not dead yet, and he's about to die." Ha 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 ha. The young man in mage robe waved his hand and glanced at Lily sinisterly. "Kill this queen first. The penalties for killing people in the game are heavy, but they are not worth the current benefits." As Behi expected, it has been 3 or 4 days since the game was launched based on real time, and the time in the game has been close to 20 days, but this is the first time the boss in the game has appeared. If you get the first clue of this boss killing, not only their team can become famous all over the world, and judging from the first kill of the boss that the system has prompted before, there will most likely be additional rewards. Although you will be punished for killing someone. After being caught by the NPC, they might go to jail, but the temptation of killing the boss first was too great, and the group was ready to take action without hesitation. As soon as the young mage finished speaking, several people immediately started chasing Lily. The young man waved his hand, a magic wand was held in his hand, and he began to chant magic, obviously preparing to snatch monsters. Lily heard this. A murderous move. She actually didn't want to kill anyone unless it was absolutely necessary, but if people were already preparing to kill her now, not just for the sake of robbing the boss, naturally she wouldn't just let him go. This group of people wore simple magic robes, and the young man leading them already had a wand and learned spells, which was a very rare thing in the early stages of the game. In addition, these people look to be in their 20s, which means that these people are at least level 20 or above. Lily retracted the lightning that was originally going to hit the Wolf King. At this time, among the few people surrounding Lily, someone suddenly said, "Overlord, look who she is." These words attracted the man's attention. He first used the magic in his hand to attack the Wolf King, but he didn't know if it was because Lily had attacked the Wolf King too many times before, causing too much damage. This mage still thought it was useless and the attack power was too weak. He prepared this move for tens of seconds and hit it on the head of the Green Wolf King. It only scorched a handful of fur on the Green Wolf King's head, and the Wolf King couldn't even look at it. Without even looking at him, he still chased after Lily. The young mage was stunned for a moment, then his face turned red, a sinister look flashed in his eyes, and he was about to get angry. The person who spoke before spoke again. "Overlord. This woman is the woman who refused us to form a team in Novice Village before." As soon as the speaker finished speaking, the other members of the team were stunned. The magician laughed ferociously. It turned out to be her. She really couldn't find anything after wearing iron shoes. It didn't take any effort to get here. The murderous intent in the magician's eyes became stronger and he ordered, "Zhongshan, you and Fishan go and capture it, hold the boss, and the rest of you will join me to kill this woman." Bailey also thought of these people at the same time. There were not many people she had made enemies with. The game had just been launched for 2 days. She acted alone most of the time. She only entered the game if she did something that offended someone. On the first day, I received a task from Aunt Gui in the novice village. At that time, several newcomers followed me and forcefully sent a request to form a team and share the task with me. At that time, Lily rejected several people without hesitation. People who had been with her also told her not to leave novice village. She originally thought that after leaving novice village, no one would know who was who. From level 1 to now, Lily's appearance changed from a child to the youthful appearance of the original owner when she was 17 or 18 years old. Unexpectedly, she was still recognized. Originally, these people were full of murderous intentions towards her. Now that someone recognized her and there was still such hatred between the two parties, they must kill her. The mage recited a spell, and a fire light formed in his hand, turning into a fireball the size of a bowl, flying straight towards Lily. Lily turned her head to avoid it, and the team of men also began to kill the Wolf King. It's a pity that the two people who were stopped by the young magician to draw the Green Wolf King's hatred were in vain. Lily dodged the fireball thrown by the young man, but the Green Wolf King jumped up behind her and bit her hard on the waist. The huge wolf's mouth seemed to bite Lily in half. If it was bitten hard, the body would probably be divided into two parts. Although it would not hurt the spirit or brain, it would have no impact on the actual body, but the pain would be it was real. Lily twisted her waist to avoid it, and another magic ball rushed towards her. She struggled to bear the heavy blow of this magic ball. When the fire burned on her body, her skin and flesh were burned open, zzzz, the sound of rang out, and Lily's whole body tensed up in pain. The next moment she avoided the Wolf King's fatal attack, but was still bitten in the thigh. The Blue Wolf King made a wow sound, and a piece of flesh on her thigh was bitten. He fell down and blood splashed everywhere. In addition to the bone-piercing pain in his heart, there was also a large amount of blood loss after the injury, and his physical strength began to fail. Lily endured the pain and used her intact leg to kick hard on the Wolf King's eye. The Wolf King received this kick, and his eyes were vulnerable, so he wailed in pain. With the force of this kick, he rushed towards the young magician who was called the Overlord by the team and gave orders. Before he finished reciting the spell in his mouth, when Lily rushed towards him like an arrow, he was stunned for a moment and it was too late to turn around. Even though he may have a higher level than Lily in the game and have better equipment than her, in terms of physical quality, he may not be as flexible as Lily. The young mage was thrown forward and knocked down by Lily with a bang. On the ground, once his spell is interrupted, he will naturally be unable to gather himself together. The mage is about to call for help. The next moment Lily takes out the old dagger from her arms and curls her lips at him. Trash, this is the reward for the task you want to share. Now I let you enjoy it. She pressed the dagger to the young man's neck and raised the knife without hesitation. The young man only felt a stinging pain in his neck, a large amount of blood gushed out as his neck was opened. The young man was frightened and angry. He reached out to cover the wound. Lily had endured the pain and turned over, grabbing the young man's magic robe. You have hurt global domination, the system warning sounded, but Lily ignored it. The Green Wolf King in the back was furious after being kicked in the eye. After landing on the ground, he rushed towards Lily again. It seemed to have recognized Lily and was furious. It didn't even care about the wounds caused by others on it. Lily grabbed the young man and dragged him towards the Green Wolf King. The Wolf King raised his head and jumped up. The young man's body flew out lightly with Lily's strength. He was horrified and his body was bitten by the Green Wolf King. There was a creepy chewing sound, and with the sound of bones breaking, a few strands of blood gushed out from the corner of the Wolf King's mouth before he could fully swallow it. The young man was chewed by the Green Wolf King and swallowed into his stomach in one bite. Such a way of death was really terrifying. The few remaining people were simply shocked and frightened. When they contacted the young man again, the system had kicked him out of the game just now, probably because of the sudden incident. The system prompted that he had been killed. No longer online. Avenge the Overlord. Anyway, now the Green Wolf King is only chasing Lily to bite him. Thinking that she has to deal with the Wolf King and the harassment from several of her own people, she may not be able to fight back. Everyone thinks about revenge for the people in the team. He rushed towards Lily. Lily has already developed a murderous intention at this moment. Killing one person is done by hand, and killing a group of people is also done by hand. When she cut the young magician's neck just now, the system warned her about hurting others, but when the young man died in the end, the system did not warn her about killing people. In other words, the young man died at the mouth of the Wolf King. As long as he picked up these people, he came down and used the same method to beat him half to death and threw him to the Green Wolf King. Then he was not killed by himself, and this team of people was also eliminated. Thinking of this, Lily took out a few wound medicine and quickly slapped it on the bitten thigh. At this moment, she regretted that she didn't keep the top quality snake pill that she had accidentally refined before. The leg injury greatly affected her mobility, so much so that even if she threw 5 people into the wolf's mouth one after another, she still got new injuries. The one person who survived saw Lily being so difficult to deal with. Even though she had more people on her side, she was still killing her one after another. Anyone who didn't run away now would be a fool. The man turned around and ran away. After killing him until now, Lily naturally couldn't let him go anymore. The feud was over. She fired a 5 thunder curse at the fleeing mage. She was originally afraid of hitting the vital part. When a person is beaten to death, he specifically targets his legs and hits him, just to influence his escape and make him stop. Who would have thought that when he heard the sound of thunder, the mage was startled? He turned around and fell to the ground in a panic. The 5 thunder curse, which was originally aimed at his thigh, immediately hit his chest. There was just a loud bang, and the mage was struck to the head. The next moment, the serious voice of the system sounded. You killed a wolf in illusion. The crime value is add 10, and the Lord of Ending City will issue a hunt order for you. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1233. The Queen killed a wolf in illusion. The City Lord of Ending City issued a hunt order to all the forces under the city. Anyone who hunts down the Queen will be rewarded with 1,000 experience points, 1,000 gold coins, and 100 reputation in Ending City. This announcement rang 3 times in a row, and many people started talking again. Lily couldn't care about anything else at the moment. She was really unlucky this time. She killed someone just after level 20. Her eyes fell on the person who was killed by her lightning. At the mage's place, the corpse had disappeared. For a moment, she was filled with fire, and she vented all her anger on the Blue Wolf King. One move after another, when the magic power was almost exhausted, he quickly ran 2 steps and tried his best to practice physical skills. When he finally dragged the Green Wolf King to death, the system announcement rang again. Congratulations to the player Queen for killing the Green Wolf King on Wolf Cliff and preventing him from harming one party. Congratulations to the player Queen for killing harm to the people and becoming the first hero to kill the boss. Your achievements will always be remembered in Star Overlord. The system will reward you with add 5 intelligence, add 5 physical strength, add 5 agility, and special achievements. The first kill of the boss. 2 system announcements sounded one after another, and at the same time, Lily's ears also rang. The player Queen kills the Green Wolf King, and the system rewards 20,000 experience points and 20,000 gold coins. I wish all players a happy game. Congratulations, you have achieved the Wolf King achievement. Lily panted and sat down on the ground, wiping the cold sweat from her forehead. Her body was covered with large and small wounds. She had been holding a tight breath just now and didn't dare to let go. Only then did she realize that her hands and feet were sore and she was completely weak. Experience points when delivered. Her experience value suddenly increased a little. It was really good luck to kill the Wolf King this time. Although the Wolf King looked fierce, there were few people here because the green wolf itself was not of a high level. So she was lucky enough to drag him to death. Otherwise, if there was another boss that was difficult to defeat, I am afraid that this kill would not be her turn anyway. It took a lot of time to kill the Wolf King here just now, when the Green Wolf King appeared before. The system had issued an announcement, and there would definitely be a lot of people rushing here. Lily was bruised all over her body at the moment, and she didn't dare to stay here any longer, so she endured the pain in her body and took out the money from Lulantown. After looking at the map, he turned around and walked in the other direction. About 5 or 6 minutes after she left, a group of people broke through Wolf Cliff again. After seeing the broken tree at the scene and the remaining bloodstains, someone glanced in the middle. "Kinga, we are late." The man known as Ching Ge narrowed his eyes, looked at the direction Lily left, and pursed his lips tightly. Behind the Wolf Cliff is an endless sea, since the game claims to be 100% realistic. So in addition to the plains and vast areas, there are also oceans and mountains. But the presence of the sea does not mean that the seaside is completely safe compared to the jungle. To get into the sea, you need to be able to swim, and your swimming skills must be pretty good. There are also many dangerous fishes on the beach, and there are even dangerous sharks. Lily ran for who knows how long, and she easily solved all the monsters she encountered along the way. I don't know how long I ran, but I felt like I was out of danger. Lily's nose can already smell the smell of seawater. She just sat down on the ground. It was close to the seaside, and the soil on the ground was already a bit like sand, soft and moist. It was only then that Lily breathed a sigh of relief. Start looking at the wounds on your body. Bones were already visible where he was bitten by the Blue Wolf King, but the wound did not stop the bleeding. The healing effect brought by the Shadan pill is obviously no longer effective after facing the wound bitten by the boss. In addition, there were serious injuries on her back, shoulders, and lower back caused by the Wolf King's claws. She couldn't notice it when she was anxious. But now that she relaxes, her whole body hurts. Fortunately, she didn't notice it before. She spared no expense and applied a large amount of healing medicine on the wounds, so there was not much blood dripping from these wounds when she ran all the way. She treated them one by one. At this time, Lily endured the pain and touched her body again. There is not much medicine left, and most importantly, there is not much snake gall left to make Shadan pills. If these injuries are not treated, and if you have to rely on your own physical fitness to carry them through, firstly, recovery will be slow, and secondly, it will affect your physical strength. With a wound on your body, your physical strength will be depleted faster than usual. Just while running, you ate a lot of roasted snake meat, and now there is no snake meat left. If this continues for a long time, the impact on herself will undoubtedly be huge. The only solution now is that she needs medicine to heal her injuries. There are all kinds of medicines for sale in the city. She is not short of money, but the problem is that she killed. If a person returns to the city with a wanted warrant on his body, he will be arrested and imprisoned for a period of time. If she wasn't really desperate, Lily definitely didn't want to go to jail, so naturally she had to make other plans. She remembered that she was not without helpers in the game. She also had the fifth cultivator and others. Although in the plot, these people alienated Tongbahi because of the girl from Earth, the game had just started serving at this time. The girl from Earth did not appear, and the fifth cultivator still held the title of her fiancé. As long as she found them to help her supply supplies, she would not have to worry when she reached a higher level and left the sphere of influence of the main city that issued the bounty order. Thinking of this, Lily picked up a communication tool and started chatting privately with the fifth general. At this time, it was already night, but the fifth cultivator was still online. As soon as Lily connected the communication, Lily's game name was called out. Queen. The fifth cultivator's cold and surprised voice rang out. In the past few days since the game was launched, the name Queen has really caught the eye. She has been included in many world announcements. Not only did she get a god-level formula before, I even got the achievement of killing the first boss in the game before. You must know that many people in the game are keeping an eye on this achievement. As far as fifth cultivator knows, many powerful people have already planned and prepared for it. Hunting and guarding the boss's sphere of influence, but unexpectedly a queen suddenly appeared at the end. Nowadays, people in the game are looking for the queen all over the world and want to recruit her privately. Wu Xiu never imagined that he would receive a private message from the queen. He immediately subconsciously thought that someone had impersonated the queen and was deliberately teasing him. Xiu, I'm Lily. As soon as Lily said this, the fifth Xiu on the other end of the call was speechless. I have killed someone now. I was injured outside the town of Lalan when I was hunting the Wolf King. Can you bring me some medicine? Of course I will pay you. Lily put forward her request, but the fifth cultivator on the other end did not speak. After a long time, Lily raised his brows, and he seemed to have come back to his senses. I was spawning monsters just now, he seemed to explain. One sentence, and then he said again, why didn't you contact me at the first time? After knowing that Lily was the queen, fifth cultivator was a little surprised at first, and then a subtle feeling came out of his heart. He and Lily are still a fiancé. Although the family interests of the relationship between the two are greater than their mutual feelings, now they find that their fiancé is the queen that many people are looking for, but the fifth cultivator is faintly feeling a little uncomfortable. In the game, the queen was the first to develop spells, the first to make the best elixirs, and was rewarded by the system. When she was in glory, Lily did not contact him at the first time. On the contrary, now that she needed someone to deliver the medicine, she took the initiative to contact him. Him. Is it inconvenient for you? Lily heard the displeasure in fifth Xiu's words. If it's inconvenient, forget it. Forget it. Where are you? The fifth cultivator suppressed the dissatisfaction in his heart, interrupted Lily, and asked where Lily was. After Lily informed him of her current location, he asked her to stay where she was. Wait, and immediately cut off the call after saying that. Although he didn't explicitly say that he wanted to deliver medicine to her, now that he asked about the location, Lily was no longer in a hurry. She then began to check the reward she had received after killing the Wolf King. She started to flee the scene in a hurry, and she didn't have time to check the reward after killing the Green Wolf King. This time he won the first kill of the Blue Wolf King boss. In addition to the attribute values rewarded by the system, there was also a Wolf King achievement. When Lily saw this achievement, her eyes suddenly lit up. According to the rules of the Wolf Clan, whoever kills the Wolf King will be the new king of the Wolf Clan. If the Green Wolf King dies in her hands, she will be the new king of the Wolf Clan from now on. People who hold this title will not be harmed by future wolves wherever they go. The most important thing is that the title also has a very useful function, which is summoning. In the game, only those who have chosen the monster summoner profession have this summoning skill. Although Lily's summoning skill is only for the Wolf Clan, and the skill needs to be cast where there are wolves, and it also has a certain cooling time. Lily may be very satisfied with such an achievement by accident. After checking her attribute values, she didn't know if it was because the fifth cultivator was far away from Lulan town. There was no news about him at this time. Lily stood up and did 2-star training movements. She felt that the spiritual power in her body was quickly replenished. More than 2 hours had passed in the game. She took out the map and looked at it carefully, and found that the place where she was bright. Not far away from the red dot, there was a small fishing village with a garrison stationed there. It was not safe for her to stay here. The fifth cultivator had not come yet. After he told him the address before, if you let yourself wait where you are, you will have troubled him in the first place. If you change positions again, you will only cause more trouble for him. The most important thing is that more than 3 hours have passed since she notified the fifth cultivator. The fifth cultivator in the plot chose to be a warrior of the gods, and took the teleportation array from the territory of the gods to the territory of humans. Even if it was, no matter how far the distance was, it would take nearly 4 hours. She might not have to wait much longer. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1234. Taking advantage of this moment, Lily took out the carcass of a green wolf. Just as she was about to skin it and roast the meat to fill her stomach, an NPC carrying a harpoon came into the trees. The fisherman glanced at her. His expression suddenly changed. Suddenly he waved his hand, turned around and started running. There is a wanted criminal here. Lily's expression changed, and she subconsciously threw away the wolf corpse in her hand to chase the fisherman, but the fisherman was extremely cunning and ran away quickly around the bend. It was not far from the seaside, and it was not until after leaving the woods that he saw it. There was a fishing village in the distance. As the NPC shouted, a group of soldiers from the village had already chased him out. She couldn't help but curse again and again. Even if she could just kill an NPC, facing a soldier with weapons and a level far higher than her, there was only one way to die. Lily turned around and ran away without hesitation. It's just that she was seriously injured and her physical strength has not yet recovered. At this moment, the soldiers quickly caught up with Lily, and only heard the world announcement. The Skynet is vast and meticulous. The Queen killed a wolf inhalation and is now being apprehended by the number 109 soldier team under Ending City. Lily was helpless at this time. As the system announcement rang, her private address book rang. You were arrested. I just had something to do. I didn't. Before he could finish his words, the busy signal of Diddy was hung up. Lily was sent to Ending City by the village chief using a teleportation array because of murder. Because she had killed Qing Lang before. Wang, who had saved the relationship in Lulan Town, had a certain prestige, so he was only sentenced to 3 months in prison. The fifth cultivator's call was naturally hung up once she was convicted. Lily could tell from his words that he was probably not ready to deliver medicine to her at all. Lily wiped her face and was escorted by soldiers into prison. If it had been anyone else, they would have stayed in a pigeon cage-like prison for 3 months, with no contact with the outside world. Without the opportunity to communicate with others, I am afraid that my body cannot bear the food and drink in the game, and my mind should have collapsed long ago. The game specifically sets up such a punishment. Stop killing in the game. But this situation was not a big problem for Lily. For 3 months, she stayed in a dark cell and took out all the corpses of the green wolves she had killed before. These corpses were skinned and processed, and now she had free time. She used most of her time in prison to practice the Tao Te Ching. At the same time skin the green wolf. In a few months, she skinned nearly 1 million green wolves. Thanks to her perseverance, she skinned hundreds of thousands of top-quality green wolf skins, and her skinning skills reached a master level. After reaching the master level in her skinning skills, she peeled the wolf skin much faster, and the damage to the wolf skin became less and less. And in the later stage, she almost no longer used other tools, and could easily peel off an entire green wolf skin. By the time the green wolf king's skin was peeled off, Lily's time in prison for murder was finally up. When he came out of the cell, Lily's various functions that had been dim before were restored one by one. It had been 3 months since she had played a game. Lily quit the game first and returned to reality. Her body had been lying down for nearly 20 days, although the spiritual power in her body had not decreased. It is obvious that my body is not as flexible as before. She stayed for a long time practicing star training to move her body. Finally, after washing up, she ate something casually before re-entering the game. After sitting in jail for a period of time, Lily has been abandoned. The number 1 player in the game rankings has risen to level 45, and the top 10 level rankings have all been refreshed. However, the 5th cultivation is still ranked 9th with level 43. Lily has only reached level 20 at the moment, but fortunately, Lily has been practicing the Tao Te Ching during her time in prison, so her intelligence is much greater than before, and the power of thunder and lightning she casts is also greater than before. Because she was in jail, she was sent to the main city of Ending by the system. The nearby monsters were already above level 30. The most important thing for Lily now was to raise her level first, but she didn't have the equipment yet. Many people are setting up stalls. Since the launch of the game, equipment, weapons, and magic books have been sold. She is still wearing the novice costume that was given to her when she first entered the game. At that time, the black and silver magic robe looked very eye-catching, but after many battles, Lily's novice magic robe was already worn out, and the system was reminding her, "You need to repair your magic robe." Many players who set up stalls couldn't afford the magic robe Lily at all. The gold coins she was rewarded by the system seemed like a huge sum of money at first, but as the game progressed, that little money was nothing at all. In the end, what's more important is that she has been renting a portable space and deducted a lot of gold coins. Now she can only wear the magic robe on her own, and at most repair it with green wolf skin. She went to a tailor shop to buy sewing scissors, found a hotel in the city and paid for a room, took off her magic robe and mended it. Ding! Congratulations on learning sewing skills, the system prompt sounded. Lily pasted a piece of green wolf skin on the back of the damaged magic robe. The skin was not sewn properly, and soon the system prompted that the repair failed. Lily took out 7 or 8 skins in a row, but none of them were successfully repaired. Finally, she chose a top-quality green wolf skin, and as soon as she sewed it on, there was no further failure this time. The system prompted. Congratulations! Magic robe repair progress add 1, physical defense add 25. Lily was a little surprised. She didn't expect that after the magic robe on her body was repaired, it might be because of the benefits of the top-quality green wolf skin that it suddenly had added physical defense. She sewed several pieces of top-quality blue wolf skin on it, and the repair progress of the magic robe was increasing. At the same time, the defense of a newbie magic robe was increased a lot. Not only the physical defense was increased to more than 300, but also the physical defense was increased to more than 300. Magic defense has also been increased. The robe was almost repaired. With a thought in Lily's heart, she took out the skin of the Green Wolf King and sewed it onto the magic robe. The originally damaged magic robe had regained its brand new appearance. Although the wolf skin was patched, due to the game, the robe that finally appeared was not a patched magic robe, but a brand new and complete robe. At this time, the magic robe was shining with luster. When Lily put the magic robe back on, the properties of the clothes had changed to: name, Dark Magician Robe. Magic Defense, 776. Physical Defense, 921. Magic Resistance, 6%. Physical Resistance, 7%. Level, 20, can grow. Quality, excellent. When Lily saw the attribute values of the clothes, she was a little surprised. Not only the defense of the magic robe had changed, but the grade was also displayed. In the beginning, her magic robe was just a novice equipment. The level was displayed at level 1, but there was no word growable behind it. Now it has not only grown from level 1 to level 20, but most importantly, her novice magic. The robe is only of ordinary quality, a white magic robe. At this time, the magic robe has turned blue, and the quality displayed on it is excellent. In Star Overlord, everything, whether it is equipment, skills, medicinal materials, etc., is divided into qualities. The most common one is white, which is ordinary. The slightly better one is good, which is green, the one level above is excellent, which is blue, the one above is perfect, which is purple. In this way, the best things are called God level and are golden in color. After the magic robe was repaired by the Blue Wolf King, its quality was improved, and its level was also improved. Does this mean there is still room for improvement in this magic robe in the future? Lily put on her robe and walked around in the outer city when she came out of the inn. Nowadays, there are many people in their 30s, and the number of people selling level 20 equipment is gradually decreasing. She finally found a place selling level 20 novice equipment. When she found a stall selling magic robes, Lily bought other people's magic robes. Comparing the attributes with her own, it is obvious that the attribute value of her magic robe is more than half higher than that of ordinary magic robes, and it can already be regarded as a small masterpiece. After unexpectedly learning such good news, Lily spent 500 gold coins at the stall to buy an ordinary magic wand. Suddenly there was not much money left in her bag, so Lily looked for a grocer to buy Valium. Map of the city, and then left the city. If you go back to the level 20 monster area to level up, not only will you not have much experience, but you will also be too lazy to spend time running. Sooner or later, she will return to Ending City. According to the game settings, if she defeats monsters beyond a certain level, the experience value will increase by different percentages depending on the level. However, for the sake of caution, Lily still focuses on level 30. On the monster area. There were many monster areas of the same level, and Lily finally chose Spider Ridge. Not only are there a lot of spiders there, but there are also dense red dots indicating monsters on the map. Most importantly, it shows that there are connections to the mines. In other words, besides killing monsters, she can also mine. Lily just spent money like water. In addition to buying a sewing kit, she also bought a weapon. Now she has no money left. She has to find a way to make more, otherwise she will have a bag full of wolf skins. The space must be locked and unusable. She planned to dig some mines and learn how to make weapons by herself, and use them more as a training exercise. After practicing, she could sell them again. After finding the target, she ran to the spider forest. Most of the spiders here were the size of a basin. When they met, they sprayed out a stinking venom. Once the venom was stained, it was disgusting and highly corrosive. They were surrounded by white spider silk, wrapped with the carcasses of many animals, many of which had been eaten by spiders. Spider Ridge looks eerie. This terrifying atmosphere coupled with the unique attack methods of spiders makes not only girls not like coming here, but also most male players don't like this place. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1235. As soon as Lily arrived at Spider Ridge, she was densely surrounded by a large group of spiders, spraying out mouthfuls of venom. She couldn't completely avoid it. Some of them landed on her skin and burned her skin. Fortunately, the magic robe's defense increased and blocked some for her. Spiders are also most afraid of fire. She released a fire dragon, and the large spiders were burned and made a squeaking sound. During the few months she was in jail, she did not put down the Tao Te Ching. Although her level has not improved, her attack power has increased significantly. In addition, she uses an auxiliary magic wand, and her spiritual power is very sufficient. Several fire dragons were released one after another without any pressure at all, and at least a dozen spiders surrounding them were burned to death at once. There is a 10-level difference between her and the spider, and her experience points have increased by more than 10%. Many system prompts sounded in her ears. Congratulations on killing the Black Widow. You have gained 150 experience points and an additional bonus of 15. A series of sounds sounded, and the black spiders on the ground dropped a lot of poison sacks. Lily picked up all the poison sacks and put them into her pocket, regardless of whether the poison sacks of these black spiders were effective or not. The experience points that had not moved for 3 months suddenly jumped forward a lot. Lily found a place with a dense monster spawn point and stood there. Many spiders swarmed towards her. Although her attack was high, but there is always level suppression, so it takes several fire dragons to destroy these spiders. And Spider Ridge refreshed very quickly. Before she could kill all the old batch of spiders, new spiders spawned. In this way, Lily didn't have to worry about not having enough monsters to kill. In half a day, she had already leveled up a level, and was not far from level 22. But his physical strength was depleted very quickly. Lily memorized this leveling point, turned around and burned the new wave of spiders to death, picked up the poison sack and fled the place quickly. After finding a place to stop, Lily first took out the green wolf meat that had been skinned and removed the bones and teeth from the bag, then picked up some branches and roasted the wolf meat. After replenishing her physical strength a lot, she roasted a lot of wolf meat for backup, and then returned to the spider-intensive spot before. Lily stayed in Spider Ridge for 5 or 6 days, and her level was directly upgraded from level 21 to level 24. There are already a lot of poison sacks in her bag, and she has dug a lot of miscellaneous mines these days. The rented portable space is filled with wolf skins, roasted wolf meat, wolf teeth, wolf bones, and spider venom. Bags and various mines. She needs to return to the city to deal with these things. The excess wolf skins can be sewn into robes and sold. In the early stage, she peeled off the unsightly wolf skins and made robes. Most of the robes made had ordinary attribute values and were of no use. Lily sold them to the street vendors casually. Hawker. But as her proficiency in sewing skills increased, she gradually became able to sew high-quality armor even from ordinary wolf skins. Occasionally, with luck, you can even make an excellent blue robe. Because the level of green wolf skin is not high, the use level of robes sewn from green wolf skin is all level 20. However, due to the effect of persistence, the occasional excellent armor has better attributes than the average level 30 clothing. The robe is even better. Lily simply collected high-quality clothes while sewing, while selling both high-quality and ordinary clothes in the store. The prices of the robes sold in stores are not high, but fortunately, she needs nothing more than sewing and thread. The wolf skins were all saved while fighting monsters, so there was no need to worry about losses. Lily sat in the city for a day. Later, after her sewing skills reached the master level, the speed of making equipment became faster and faster, except for selling to shops. There are 34 ordinary robes and robes of excellent quality left. The whole thing she made was the magician's robe. Lily was delayed for a day and consumed about 1/10 of the green wolf skins she had saved. Most of the top quality green wolf skins were still untouched. It was already evening. The number of people in the game has not decreased. There are still many people coming and going in Ending City, and it does not seem any less deserted because of the approaching night. She put out all the magic robes she made during the day and sold them for 10,000 gold coins each. At first, Lily never thought that business would come to her so quickly. After all, the price of the magic robe she sells is quite expensive compared to level 20 equipment. Unexpectedly, the supply of these dozens of magic robes exceeded the demand, and they were quickly bought. Suddenly there were hundreds of thousands of gold coins in her bag, and Lily felt much more at ease. Some people who came here and did not buy the magic robe were not willing to leave. They stood there and watched Lily Flying Needle move the thread. "Are you still selling it?" Several people surrounding Lily couldn't help but ask her. Although the price of the magic robe sold by Lily is slightly more expensive than the price of level 20 robes, it is cheaper than the level 30 equipment, and its defense is better than the ordinary level 30 robe. The magic robe is even better. Not only low-level people can wear it after buying it, but even people at level 30 can wear it. When Lily heard someone asking, she nodded and placed several high-quality magic robes she had just made on the ground. They were quickly picked up by several people standing around. It was getting late, and Lily wasted a day. Now she had money in her bag. She went to the city and bought some hose for mining, and then ran out of the city. After level 24, it becomes more difficult to upgrade each level. Although the experience value of each spider in Spider Ridge is several times more than that of the python or green wolf, it is still very difficult to upgrade. Spider Ridge stayed for another half a month, collected a large number of poison sacks, and directly raised his level to level 28 before quitting the game again. She hasn't left the game cabin for a few days. Lily has not been in a hurry to play the game after leaving the game this time. Before entering the game, the optical brain has received messages from the fifth cultivator. Until now, the optical brain has not received any more messages. There is news about the fifth cultivator. I think he has probably never played a game since the game was launched. Lily practiced physical training for a day, and when she re-entered the game, the time in the game was already 5 days later. As soon as Lily came online, she was surrounded by a group of refreshed black spiders. She cast a few spells and easily killed all the spiders around her. When she wanted to pick up the poison sack, the system prompted her that the package was full. Her bag was filled with all kinds of ores that she had dug when killing spiders. Lily cleared the surrounding monsters, and at the same time, she took out the forging furnace that had been prepared in the bag, and used her spiritual power to light the furnace. Liang, and then threw the ore in. Forging weapons, some special jewelry, and forging other equipment in the game are different. Many people can learn sewing and life skills, and as long as you have good patience, you can do simple equipment. But weapons are different. First of all, the furnace for casting weapons needs to be ignited with magic value or attack value. The depth of magic value or attack power is related to the speed and degree at which the furnace can melt the ore. The person with a higher attack value, the faster the ore melts after igniting the furnace, and the more completely it can be melted, so that the shape of the weapon can be shaped more freely. On the contrary, if the attack power is not high, let alone forging weapons, it is not easy to light the furnace, let alone completely melt all kinds of ores. It was fine in the early stage, but in the later stage of the game, as the level increases, the ore becomes harder and harder. Therefore, in the later stage, many weapons are hard to find. This setting is also the reason why Callan Company is criticized in the game. 1. But the explanation given by Callan Company is that things are more valuable than hope. That is, in real life, people with strength and those without strength belong to two different levels of life. People with strength always have more resources than those without strength. It is like a mecha. Everyone knows it is powerful, but not everyone can afford the same truth. This explanation made many people feel dissatisfied, but their thin arms could not compete with their thick thighs, so in the end this criticism was ignored. Lily lit the stove easily. Maybe it was because the spiritual power in her body far exceeded the magic power. As soon as the ore was thrown in, it melted into colorful liquids very quickly and completely. Waiting until these after the liquid was shaped by her, it turned into silver magic wands. From time to time, reminders of the forging technique to increase familiarity came to her ears as the magic wands took shape. After Lily discovered that the casting technique did not require much of her own magic power, she threw a few magic wands of ordinary quality into the package, and began to cast magic wands again. She took advantage of the black spider's spawning time to cast a magic wand. Due to her abundant spiritual power, Lily found that her casting skills increased faster than her sewing skills. Later, she even cast a magic wand. An excellent blue wand, but unfortunately because the quality of the ore comes from the level 30 monster spawning area, her level is not yet accessible. In one day, Lily consumed all the ore she dug, and cast a total of 50 or 60 wands from the remaining ore. The experience value in Spider Ridge was already too low for her, and she planned to change the place to level up again. First, he returned to Ending City and laid out all the dozens of magic wands he had made all day long. They sold ordinary magic wands at the price of 1.5 W gold coins each, while high-quality ones cost another 5,000 gold coins. It took less than 2 hours of work. It sold for $77 or $88. Lily already had millions of gold coins in her bag. This time she went directly to the auction house in Ending City, entrusting the auction house to purchase some ores for herself, before leaving the city again to find a new leveling area. Now that she is level 28, when she chooses the monster spawning area, she chooses the Firefox area, which is around level 40. After spending 4 days at the leveling location, Lily reached level 30 and replaced it with the high-quality wand she had made before, and then returned to the city. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1236. The auction house has received nearly 5,000 sets of ores for Lily. Each set of ores costs 100 UN. In the early stages of the game, the circulation of gold coins was not as large as later, so the ores are not expensive. Nearly 5,000 sets of ores have not yet been spent on Lily. She paid the 500,000 gold coins, put the ore into her bag, went to the inn, opened a room, and began to forge weapons. The sound of the system prompting her to increase her proficiency in the casting technique kept ringing in her ears. Lily ignored it at all. She was completely immersed in refining weapons. When her spiritual power was exhausted, she practiced physical skills for a while to replenish her spiritual power. 4 or 5 days later, she had consumed most of the ore collected in the bag. Although due to her talent and achievement of persistence, as she forged weapons for a long time, more and more of the weapons she produced were of excellent quality. But there is no such thing as perfect quality. Lily turned the mineral liquid in the furnace into a wand, the ding sound sounded again, and a wand of excellent quality came out of the furnace again. After staying in the inn for a week, Lily threw all the weapons she had made during this period to the auction house to help dispose of them. She went offline again and was active in the game for a while. When she re-entered the game, all the weapons that Lily threw into the auction house last time had been sold. She entrusted the auction house to buy a larger amount of ore for herself again, and while she was out he went straight to the monster leveling area. During the 2 months of playing the game, Lily spent all her time in the game buying ores to make weapons and leveling up monsters, except for playing the game every 2 days to stretch her muscles. In 2 months, her level has been raised from level 30 to level 37, and her familiarity with weapons has also increased. The success rate of forging weapons is already very high. It's just that the auction house recently bought the ore because of her. The price of ore has been driven very high by her. Fortunately, the weapons she has made recently are cheap and her spiritual power is relatively high, so the attack power of the weapons she forged is very high. In the auction house, once it is put up, it will be quickly sold out, which can be regarded as relieving her financial pressure. Lily spent money to rent a shop in the city of Ending. When she wasn't leveling up, she closed the shop most of the time and forged weapons here. There was a casting furnace in front of her, and she injected spiritual power again. The casting furnace lit up again, and she threw a large pile of ore into it. There was not much ore left in the bag this time. The ore in the casting furnace when it melted again and a few wands rose from the furnace, the hard work paid off. The system voice sounded again. Player Queen, with perseverance, she has finally gone further and further in the process of casting. She has reached the Grand Master achievement in the art of casting. She has become the first Grand Master of the art of casting in Star Overlord and obtained the achievement of ingenious craftsmanship. The system rewards 1000 experience points. God-level weapon map, a symbol of power. The moment the system prompt sounded, When the wand cast in the lily furnace comes out again, its appearance will be very different from the previous wand. The previous wand was no different in style from the wands bought from outside, but I don't know if it was because of Lily's achievement of ingenuity. The newly released wand this time is not only silvery white in color, but also has a faint golden light flowing around the wand. Golden patterns have also begun to appear on the wand itself. Even just looking at the appearance, it is much more beautiful than the wand made before. Looking at the attack power again, the magic attack auxiliary bonus of an ordinary level 30 wand was around 700, but Lily picked up a wand at random. Not to mention it is much heavier than an ordinary wand. When she checked the properties of these wands, she discovered: Producer, Queen. Reputation, Silver Staff. Attack, 1061. Magic damage, 3%. Level, 30. Quality, ordinary. These newly produced wands not only look much more beautiful than ordinary wands, but also have much more attack power than ordinary wands, and most importantly, the magic damage value is increased by an additional 3%. Don't underestimate this 3%. If Lily were to go out to spawn monsters with this wand, her damage value would be much higher than it is now. The attack value of each wand produced in the same period is different, but the difference in quality is not much different. The magic damage value also varies with luck. Lily replaced the excellent quality wand in her hand. Just when she was about to refine all the remaining ores into weapons, her private voice system rang. It was the 5th cultivation calling her. When Lily saw the name prompt of 5th Admiral, the corners of her mouth curled up coldly. Is something wrong? She only had contact with the 5th cultivator once in the game. That time, after she killed the Green Wolf King, she was wanted by the Lord of Ending City for killing someone. She was seriously injured and asked the 5th cultivator to deliver medicine to her. That time. Unfortunately, she didn't wait until 5th cultivator sent the medicine in the end, but she was arrested and imprisoned for 3 months. After coming out, 5th cultivator probably didn't play the game, so he never contacted her again. I didn't expect that she would come to her now. When did you come out? 5th cultivator's voice sounded a little surprised. In fact, he was really surprised at this moment. The system in Star Overlord has very strict jail terms for murders. Once caught, you will have to spend at least 2 or 3 years in jail in the game. When Lily was caught, the 5th cultivator was originally thought she was finished. 2 or 3 years in the game is equivalent to about half a year outside the game. When she comes out from prison, everyone in the game will be better than her. It is precisely because of knowing this that 5th cultivator has never tried to contact her again, and he has not sent her a message in reality. Because he knew Lily would be locked in the game and unable to log off, even if he sent a message, it would not help. But I didn't expect Lily to come out so quickly. Less than half a year has passed in the game. She came out at some point and upgraded her weapon proficiency to the Grand Master level. The moment 5th Xiu heard the system prompt sound, he almost thought he had heard it wrong. With the curious encouragement of his friends, when he tried to contact Lily, he found that he was actually contacted. If Lily was in jail, then he would not be able to contact Lily, but once he contacted her now, it proved that the queen the system mentioned before was indeed her. The 5th cultivator couldn't believe it. Didn't you kill someone and go to jail? How could you be released so soon? Even if she couldn't see him at the moment, Lily could imagine what kind of expression he looked like at this moment. She calmly lit up the casting furnace with her spiritual power and threw the ore in again. Is something wrong? Her tone was cold and indifferent when she spoke, and 5th Xiu suddenly couldn't open her mouth. He remembered what he had not finished saying to Lily when she was arrested: I was delayed by something last time, so I didn't have time to send you medicine. In fact, he himself was very unhappy with Lily's actions. After all, the name of Queen was very loud in the game, but she never thought of contacting him. She was the first one to comprehend the spell in the game at that time. skills. If she contacted her earlier, she could share it with herself. How was this done? It would enable her group of people to gain a foothold in the game earlier. But she didn't say anything. Instead, she took the initiative to contact him only after she was in danger. This made Fifth Xiu dissatisfied, so when Lily asked him to help deliver medicine, he didn't go immediately. Anyway, he thought that since Lily didn't think of sharing with them the first time she got the benefit, now when she asked him to deliver medicine, she would naturally think that he might not help her in the first time. But he didn't expect that Lily would be arrested because of his delay. Fifth Cultivator also knew that the crime of murder was very serious in the game. He was not without guilt at that time, so he immediately contacted Lily. Unfortunately, Lily was thrown into prison at that time, and the communication was cut off before he could speak. It was only then that he finished speaking. Lily listened to him quietly and couldn't help laughing. This man's apology is always very late. In the plot, he fell in love with the girl from the earth and did not tell Tong Bei early. In fact, the two of them were in a family marriage, and both parties could not help it. If he is not satisfied with this marriage and is completely determined to marry a woman from a backward planet, he can explain it to the fifth family and then go to the Tong family to declare that the engagement is invalid. But he didn't. Instead, he hid his relationship with the girl from Lily Tong in the game. Lily Tong was kept in the dark until the incident between the two came to light, and he had no choice but to apologize, saying that there was no relationship between the two. Then he saw his true feelings clearly and insisted on marrying the girl in the game. Tong Bei broke into the place of marriage on their wedding day and was killed by everyone. You know, in the end, with the death of Tong Bei, the marriage between the Tong family and the fifth family naturally came to an end. The fifth cultivator naturally got married to the girl from the earth, even though the earth was far behind the planet where everyone lived. Many, depending on the power of the fifth family, may not necessarily care about this. On the contrary, even if the Tong family loses a genius, they secretly hate the fifth cultivator in their hearts, but there are so many people who killed Tong Lily, including many heirs with the same power as the Tong family and the fifth family. It's a given. I don't care about this. Do you have anything else? Lily interrupted Fifth Xiu, not wanting to listen to him anymore. He hesitated for a moment, and when he spoke again, his voice was much colder. You are still the same. Are you already a Grand Master in the art of casting? Do you have such a high magic value? Amu is a priest and belongs to the magic system like you. He is currently looking for a level 40 magic wand. You happen to be a Grand Master and can cast one for him. Rude. To be continued. Carrot. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 1237. In the early stages of the game, most people pay more attention to level than attack value or magic value. After all, when the level is low, even if you have the ability to get equipment that can increase the attack value, if the level is not enough, many things have level restrictions. Cannot be used. Most people know that casting equipment is very important, but no player will deliberately practice life skills in the early stage when fighting for rankings. Even if there are dedicated life players who practice life skills such as casting and sewing, casting requires magic points. The attack value lights up the casting furnace and melts the ore, and because the attack power is too low, even if they have raw materials such as ore, they cannot practice making weapons in large quantities. Therefore, the game has been open for such a long time. Lily has high attack power. Due to her physical training, she uses spiritual power instead of magic value in her body. She is also very patient and spent a lot of time forging weapons. By chance, obtained the achievement of Grand Master of Foundry. The AMU mentioned by fifth Xiu is Mubo, the son of the Mu family from the same family as the Tong family. He, fifth Xiu, Tong Beihe and others grew up together. People from several families have similar origins and are quite different in age. Not too much, so whether they were learning martial arts or other things since childhood, they were almost always together, and they were considered childhood sweethearts. In the plot, Mubo also entered the game with the fifth cultivator and was one of the team members. He practices the profession of human priest, which is a very important profession in the team for rescuing people and assisting in healing. For human priests, the level of magic value determines the effect of his healing. The higher the magic value, when he casts the healing spell, the effect becomes better. Mubo has a calm and dignified character. Originally, Tong Beihe regarded him as an older brother, and she also respected him very much in the plot. But at the same time, he is also one of the people who helps fifth cultivator hide their emotional affairs. When Tong Beihe finally found him for questioning, Mubo was a little apologetic, but said to Tong Beihe, "There is no relationship between you and Aceu, it is just a marriage between the two families. What happened between Aceu and her will not harm you. What's the harm? You don't like him. At most, it's just a loss of face." Even though Tong Beihe had grown up with Mubo at that time, in the minds of these men, the brotherly relationship was always more important than the relationship with her. The relationship between childhood sweethearts. In the end, Mubo even persuaded her to be more relaxed and not to care about the fifth cultivator, which helped him. At this time, Lily heard that the fifth cultivator asked her to help Mubo make a weapon. If there were no such things in the plot, she would naturally agree to the fifth cultivator's request. After all, the relationship between the two of them was once so close. But when Tong Beihe prevented the fifth cultivator's wedding in the game, even if Mubo was not among the people who attacked Tong Beihe, he also did not side with Tong Beihe. "A level 40 priest's scepter?" Lily asked, and the fifth cultivator's cold voice rang out, "Yes." The level of making equipment in the game is also closely related to the level of life skill familiarity, although it is not necessary to reach the level of a Grand Master to make a level 40 weapon. But it definitely requires master level or above familiarity. Nowadays, there are many people in the game who have reached the master level in casting skills. As some people in the game have reached level 50 or above, even level 50 weapons have appeared, but the prices are extremely expensive. According to the strength of the fifth cultivator and others, it is not impossible to afford it, but when the system prompted Lily to become the first Grand Master in casting skills and achieved the achievement, the fifth cultivator and others immediately became excited. Lily became a Grand Master and received an achievement award awarded by the game system. The weapons produced must be somewhat different from the weapons currently sold in the game. The fifth Xiu first wanted to test it out to see if the queen announced by the system was Lily. Secondly, Mubo also felt that it was based on his relationship with Lily. If he made a request to Lily, Lily would definitely not refuse, so she asked fifth cultivator to ask for him when he was sure. Not many level 40 priest scepters are sold nowadays, most of them have ordinary attribute values. You are the first person to reach the realm of Grand Master. Didn't the system give you some achievements? If you can make weapons for AMU. That's it? Make a weapon for him, and when it's ready, just tell me to come get it. As soon as fifth cultivator finished speaking, he was about to cut off the communication when Lily spoke calmly. "I have not reached level 40. I am afraid that the success rate of making a level 40 weapon will not be too high, and the chance of getting the best one is not high. If Mubo just wants ordinary weapons, then there is no problem, but if he wants what I want is a top quality scepter with slightly better attributes, so I'm afraid it won't work for the time being." Not only Mubo didn't think that his request for a weapon might be rejected by Lily, but even the fifth cultivator obviously didn't think that Lily would reject. He had become accustomed to cutting off the communication after expressing what he wanted to say when talking to Lily Tong. When Fifth Amendment was about to cut off the communication, he couldn't help but froze for a moment after hearing Lily Tong's words. "What level are you at?" On the other end of the call, Fifth Cultivator frowned. "The game has been open for such a long time, haven't you reached level 40 or above?" Fifth Cultivator, the heir of the fifth family, spoke. "I have become accustomed to this tone." Several team members who were with him next to him heard his questioning voice and saw something was wrong with his tone of voice. They couldn't help but gathered around and asked, "What's wrong?" The fifth cultivator made a pause gesture, indicating that everyone should not talk to him yet, and then when he was about to speak, Lily sneered, "I have not reached level 40 yet, although Star Overlord has been open for some time, but among these times, Lily spent half of her time in prison. Even after she was released from prison, she did not spend all her time on leveling up." When the fifth cultivator heard what she said, she naturally thought of her. As soon as the ins and outs of being imprisoned passed through his mind, he naturally felt a little unhappy, and his tone became a little colder. "When did you get out of jail?" "When I entered the game, it only took me 3 months to reach level 40." Speaking of Lily being in jail, Fifth Cultivator was also very dissatisfied. During the first period of the game's opening, the fool everyone knows that they should focus on leveling up, rather than on fighting and killing. She is very brave and fierce at any time. If she fights and kills like this in the later stages of the game, the fifth cultivator will not bother to talk about her, but in the early stages of the game, she had no skills but fought with others, and ended up in jail. Now that the game has been running for such a long time, she has not even reached level 40. Now she has become a low-ranking character in the game. She will still be in the game in the future. What future is there to talk about? You reached level 40 in 3 months, so your casting skills have reached the level of a Grand Master. Lily heard his aggressive tone and couldn't help but ask him a question. The fifth cultivator was left speechless by her question. Indeed, if he also needs to take into account life skills when leveling up, he may not be able to reach level 30, not to mention level 40. At the same time, because of his low early attack value and low level, he is very likely to continue to level up. "I can't learn life skills well." Faced with Lily's rhetorical question, if the fifth cultivator hadn't come to Lily today to ask for weapons for Mubo, he could naturally say that Lily was not doing his job properly, and that he didn't want to rush to a good level, but that he wanted to put the cart before the horse and learn some life skills. The conditions of the Tong family are there. As long as she is a high level, with the resources of the Tong family, what kind of weapons and equipment can't she buy? Should she be like those real-life players and find a way to survive in the game? But he had just asked for weapons for Mubo, and now naturally he could no longer say this. This was the first time that Fifth Shiu was speechless when he was here with Lily, and his face looked a little ugly at that moment. "Then what do you think? I am now level 37. If Mubo wants a weapon, of course he can, but you have to be responsible for bringing me to level 40. When I reach level 40, I can naturally make a wand for him." As soon as Lily said this, the fifth cultivator on the other end of the communication fell silent. He instinctively didn't want to bring Lily with him. The game had been running for such a long time. He and several other people had already formed a fixed team, and he didn't really want anyone to join his team halfway. According to Beihi's current level, it is not very easy to reach level 40. In Star Overlord, it becomes more and more difficult to upgrade as you progress through the game. Now that he is playing the game all day long, he feels that each level up is as difficult as climbing to the sky. In the game, a team is formed to spawn monsters. As long as the team is in the same place, once one of them kills the monster, the rest of the team can share the experience. As the level of monsters increases, the experience value increases. Taking the current team of 5th Cultivator and others as an example, the average level of the team is 49. Everyone in the team is farming level 53 monsters. The experience value of each monster is about 370 points, and there are 4 level bonus experience points at the same time, which means that the experience value of each monster is less than 390 points. There are a total of 6 people in the team, so the experience value each person gets is just over 60 points. Fortunately, everyone usually grinds monsters together to level up and kill them quickly. In this way, although the experience points are less, the victory is more, so everyone's level can be regarded as steadily increasing. But once one more person is added, the 390 experience points shared equally by 6 people will become equally shared by 7 people. At that time, each person can only get more than 50 experience points, which not only slows down the team's upgrade speed, but also brings an extra burden. Everyone must pay attention to her. The 5th cultivator has now fallen to the 10th place on the level rankings. He still wants to work hard to reach the 9th place. If he brings one more lily, let alone the 9th place, I am afraid he can keep the top 10. It's good if it doesn't fall below the 10th place. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1238. There are so many people in Star Overlord, which means that most of the people in the entire star field are in the game, and the competition is extremely fierce. Because of these relationships, many families have infiltrated their forces into the game, which is wrong. It's complicated. His staying in the top 10 is good for the 5th family and cannot be ruined by bringing Lily along. Most importantly, there are other reasons. There is an elf mage in the team, a girl from a distant planet. Duyuntian and others in the team sometimes make fun of him and this girl. In my heart, the 5th cultivator feels uncomfortable with this. The girl has an unusual affection. So far, he doesn't want Lily to know the existence of this girl. Otherwise, her cold and domineering character will most likely hurt her. Being hurt in the game is a fatal blow to people. It would be bad if Lily was not serious and affected the other person in real life. Therefore, the 5th cultivator rejected Lily's request without hesitation. The difference between your levels is too big, and the effect of us taking you is not great. Can't you find a way to reach level 40 by yourself? 5th cultivator was silent for a while, and made such a request. Lily laughed and said nothing. When she laughed, 5th cultivator frowned immediately and glanced to the side. Forget it, that's it. He will figure out how to use AMU's scepter by himself. You should upgrade it quickly. After saying this, the 5th cultivator directly hung up the communication. He thought clearly that instead of taking Lily to level 40, when it was still uncertain whether she could make truly top quality weapons after reaching level 40, taking her to level up would undoubtedly be equivalent to adding more baggage. Let AMU use the scepter in his hand to deal with it first. Why, is it any wonder that Lily is unwilling? The 5th repairman hung up the communication. Several other people in the team gathered around and asked. He hesitated for a moment and sighed, AMU, you are now level 49. In my opinion, it is better not to ask her to make level 40 equipment again and be patient. After you reach level 50, you can change it to a level 50 scepter. He did not say whether Lily was willing to help Mubo with equipment, but others seemed to think that his tone was so serious. He also asked Mubo not to give up the level 40 scepter. Everyone naturally thought that Lily rejected him and he was too embarrassed to tell Mubo the truth. Mubo was stunned for a moment, with a thoughtful look on his face. He glanced at the 5th cultivator, then reached out and patted his shoulder. Good. When he said this, Mubo glanced at the dark, soft girl with short student hair next to him, with a look of determination in his eyes. I didn't expect Lily to have changed. Now she refuses when I ask her to help me make a weapon. A young man with curly brown hair played with the dagger in his hand and sneered. After hearing this, the 5th cultivator just frowned. He quickly interrupted him, okay, Yuntian, stop talking and let's level up. He also had his own plan, and he didn't take Lily just asking him to take him with him to level up. He said that he would make weapons for Mubo after reaching level 40. Firstly, he knew that everyone and Tongbei were childhood sweethearts. Fifth cultivator did not want to take Lily with him. Firstly, he was afraid that she would lose experience. Secondly, he looked at the side looking at the girl with short black hair who was sitting. He felt that for some reason, he didn't want Lily to know her existence, but he was worried that others might not think so. But he had already rejected Lily before, if he brought it up again now. I wonder what the brothers will think of him in the future? It's better to just forget it. Don't worry, everyone. Why don't I just learn life skills? I'll figure out how to equip the ship with weapons. When everyone was silent, the girl's crisp voice rang out. A smile appeared in Mubo's eyes, and everyone smiled. When Lily heard that fifth cultivator hung up the communication, he raised the corners of his mouth and smiled slightly. She knew that the fifth cultivator would not agree to take her with him. If he really regarded her as one of his own, he would have asked her to return to the team quickly without her mentioning it. Calculating the time, the fifth cultivator should have met the girl from the earth by now. In the plot, he has been hiding it from Lily Tong and doesn't want the original owner to know. It's understandable that he also wants to hide it from himself now. He doesn't want to let himself know. It's just that after the fifth cultivator was rejected by her today, the possibility of those people contacting her again in a short period of time is very low. It's better to break up now to avoid having to deal with these people in the future. All the remaining ores were made into weapons. Lily had rented a shop in Anding City a long time ago, but these days she regarded the shop as her temporary stop when returning to the city and did not open the shop door. Now she has a lot of weapons that have been forged during this period. The weapons made after having the achievement of ingenious craftsmanship have high attribute values. When they are put up for auction in the auction house, the commissions collected are also quite large, so she simply sells the weapons herself. They were placed in the shop respectively. Weapons made before reaching the Grand Master achievement were sold at a price of 10,000 gold coins each. Good products and excellent quality were priced at another 10,000 gold coins each. Some weapons with gorgeous appearance are generally sold for 100,000 gold coins each, and good ones are sold for 200,000 gold coins. Lily hired an NPC for 300,000 to help look after the store, and asked him to help release information about the purchase of ore. Then he left the store. This time Lily stayed in the wild for 10 days. She took advantage of these 10 days to reach level 38 before leaving the game. When she entered the game again, it was already a day later. She brushed her level to level 39 before returning to the city. For nearly 20 days in the game, her shop door was still open. Many people stood outside and looked at the shop. The NPC she hired sat in the shop listlessly. When Lily came back, the NPC's head was also wet. He didn't raise it. All the weapons have been sold. If you want to buy more weapons, wait until the shop owner comes back. Lily didn't expect that she had thrown away so many weapons when she left, and that the time was sold out so quickly. The NPC seemed to realize that she hadn't left until he finished speaking. When he raised his head and saw her, he immediately shouted, "Boss, you are finally back." The NPC looked excited. "For such a long time, I thought you had abandoned the store." He brought over a ledger, which recorded the income after selling weapons and the expenses after receiving ore. Although this NPC had a high monthly commission, he was indeed shrewd. He remembered every account clearly, which surprised Lily. During the more than 20 days in this game, the NPC received a lot of ores for her. In addition to the ores for making level 30 weapons, there were also some ores above level 40, including a few excellent ores. A total of nearly 5,000 groups were collected. In addition to the purchase of ore, after deducting the daily expenses of the store, monthly rent, workers' wages, etc., there is a balance of nearly 1 million in the store. It can be seen that the most popular weapons are always the weapons made after possessing the talent of exquisite craftsmanship. These high-quality weapons are the first to be sold out, followed closely by others. Lily made weapons from the ores she received, including a small number of level 40 weapons. She kept one with the best attributes for herself, and sewed all the remaining blue wolf skins into magic robes, which she placed on the after selling it in the store. Lily left the store again. In the past few days, Lily has been busy making equipment and weapons for the shop. Lily has been stuck at level 39 and cannot go any further. She plans to upgrade to level 50 as soon as possible. After reaching level 50, the game will trigger a dungeon mission. As long as you complete the mission, you will have a chance to enter the dungeon. As long as you clear the dungeon, you will earn a lot of money. Not only may rare materials drop out, but skill books and even equipment may drop out. Lily spent the next 10 days in the game before going offline for one day. She occasionally returned to the store. Except for selling some of the things she made in the store, most of her time was spent on in terms of leveling. 4 months passed in a flash. In 4 months, Tongbei's real-life strength has reached the 5th level of martial arts. In the game, she has reached level 49 and is close to level 50. Her sewing skills have also reached the level of a Grand Master, but her sewing skills are not as good as casting. Due to the requirements for force points, she did not obtain the achievement of this Grand Master, and her shop in Anding City has also become extremely famous in the past few months. Lily has been staying in the Bumblebee territory in this area for more than a month. At the beginning, there was a huge difference in strength between her and Bumblebee, and she was stung in unbearable pain. Now Bumblebee can no longer get close to her. As the wave of monsters she attracted were covered with lightning nets and electrocuted to death, a large amount of honey fell out, and the system prompt sounded in Lily's ears. Ding! Congratulations on reaching level 50. The number 1 on the ranking list is now level 59. After the game reaches level 50, each level up becomes as difficult as climbing to the sky. The 5th general on the ranking list still occupies the 10th position. Lily has been a long time has not returned to the city. Now that she has upgraded, she first returned to the city to repair her worn-out magic robe, and sewed a piece of level 50 Lanchan nephrite that she had spent a lot of money to acquire into magic. On the robe, the properties of the magic robe on her suddenly changed to: name, Dark Magician Robe. Magic Defense, 3757. Physical Defense, 4321. Magic Resistance, 9%. Physical Resistance, 11%. Dark Attribute, Unsealed. Level, 50, can grow. Quality, top quality. I don't know if the entire magic robe is due to the addition of Lanchan nephrite. The body of the robe exudes a gleaming blue light, and its defense has been increased. What deserves Lily's attention is the dark attribute bonus. This did not appear before the magic robe was repaired, but only appeared after her level was upgraded. Because the magic robe is upgradable, the level increases as the level increases. In other words, the magic robe does not have this dark attribute until it reaches level 50. It did not have it before. Does that mean, after reaching level 50, is it possible for me to unlock the attributes of a hidden race? To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1239. Lily put on the magic robe. This time, Lily did not make any more weapons to open a store. Although the city of Anding was still very prosperous, the monsters here were level 30-50, so she would not necessarily come back many times in the future. Although the business of the store here has always been very good, she did not enter the game specifically for business, so she was not ready to buy this store. It's just that this NPC who has been employed for half a year is good. Lily negotiated with this NPC for a while and agreed to increase his monthly salary from the original 300,000 game coins to 500,000, and let him go to the city of Outlander to wait for her to reopen the store. In Star Overlord, there are so many cities. The city of Outlander that Lily chose is extremely far away from the city of Stability. Even if she uses the teleportation array between the main cities to teleport, it will take several hours, but the advantage is that the city of Outlander is relatively large, and it is divided into north and south sides. The monster area in the southeast is between level 50 and level 80, while the level of monsters in the northwest is between level 80 and level 100. Lily chose this city. In the next 3 or 4 years of the game, she won't have to change cities. The city of Outlander is at the junction of different races. It is close to the sphere of influence of the gods to the east and the demon tribe to the west. It is precisely because of these characteristics that Outlander City is not the royal city of the human race, but it is. Among the human race, it is the most prosperous city with the most players. The most important reason why Lily chose this place, in addition to the above reasons, is that in the plot, Lily Tong, 5th Shiu, and others came to the city of Outlander after level 50. It is also in this city. The 5th cultivator married a girl from the earth. At the same time, Lily Tong also snatched the bride here and died here. This is the most important reason why Lily chose the city of Outlander, where Lily Tong died. Naturally, she wanted to get things back here for Tong Lily. It was already evening when we arrived in Outlander. Different from the slightly Chinese-style ancient architectural style in Anding City, the architectural style of Outlander City is more Western style, and the streets are clean and full of exotic customs. When Lily came out of the teleportation array, she entered the teleportation array hall of the Outlander City government. It was crowded with people. Outside was a square with almost no edges that could be seen at a glance. There was a huge fountain in the middle of the square. At this time the music is playing, and the clean and refreshing pool water rises from the ground little by little with the music, and then rises layer by layer and sprays into the sky. There are many pigeons in the square. Many NPCs are selling food for pigeons to tourists, and everything seems to be the same as reality. Naturally, this is also one of the reasons why Karen Company claims to 100% restore the realistic scenes in Star Overlord. These scenery are extremely beautiful. Many of the architectural styles are architectural complexes that appeared in early ancient times. They are no longer visible today. However, few people in the game appreciate these beautiful scenery. The square is densely packed with stalls. Shouts and sales could be heard everywhere. As soon as Lily came out of the government hall, she felt a cool mist of water spraying all over her head and face. High-quality magic robe for level 50 mage, on sale for 35W. Level 55 mage's staff of power, sell it for money. There were many people shouting around. In addition to the human race, there were also many players from other professions. When she was in Anding City, because it was relatively close to the human novice village, most of the people Lily saw were human players, although there were also people from other races and other professions. But they are always in the minority. The original owner is very familiar with the city of Outlander. Lily first went to the office in the city lord's palace according to her memory, and found a place to rent a store in the main city. The NPC who was doing the work took out something that looked like a chessboard, and there were a lot of red lights on the chessboard. These are the store addresses that are already occupied by candidates, and there are still a few places with green lights to choose from. Most of the locations are relatively remote, and the prices are pretty good. Even the smallest store requires more than 1 million gold coins per month to rent. If there is a store with a backyard and more complete functions, the price ranges from 100 to 500 W gold coins. Lily had saved some money during her time in Anding City, and chose a store with an average location but a medium size. The monthly rent was 2.3 million gold coins. After signing a contract with the NPC, she settled on the store. The NPC who had made an appointment early in the morning to take care of her shop had already brought her family to the city of Atlanta. After Lily told him the address of her shop, she started walking around the city. After renting the shop, she paid half a year's rent at a time. Most of the money in her bag was gone at once. There were not many gold coins left. She was going to buy some level 50 ore materials to make weapons. Instead of rushing to the auction house in the city, she walked around the largest square in the city. Every day, tens of thousands of players who couldn't afford to rent a shop set up stalls here and retailed some things. If you have patience, you can sometimes find a lot of useful raw materials and even equipment. Lily had just taken 2 steps when she saw a man in black clothes squatting on the ground, shouting, "Buy poison sacks, buy poison sacks in large quantities." Hearing the word poison sack, Lily stopped immediately. She remembered that when she was in Anding City, she had killed spiders for a while and picked up a lot of poison sacks. The poison sacks were usually unique to spiders. There are many levels of spiders in the game that will drop things. The poison sacks also have different toxicity according to the different levels and lethality of the spiders. But so far, according to the highest level in the game, which is level 59, the one that drops the most poison sacks is the level 30 Black Widow that Lily has played before. However, when the level is low, many people don't like killing spiders and dislike them. This thing is cheap and takes up a lot of space. Even if you pick it up, it will be sold quickly. After reaching an advanced level, if you want to learn the life skill of making poison in the game, then the poison sack is an indispensable raw material. There are also many kinds of life skills in the game, including those who forge weapons, those who sew equipment, those who make healing medicine, and of course those who learn the art of making poison that can hurt people. However, one of the most troublesome things in Star Overlord is that players can skip levels and kill monsters. When the level is low, they can kill high-level monsters and the system will give certain rewards, but once the player level is high, they can kill high-level monsters. And then kill low-level monsters, then the natural system will have a certain degree of restraint. This is also for the sake of restraint and balance in the game, so as to prevent many high-level players from taking advantage of the loopholes to find places with low-level monsters that are easy to kill and upgrade them, thereby taking away the leveling points of low-level players. Once high-level players farm low-level monsters, and the monsters differ by more than 5 levels, the probability of the monsters dropping items will not only be reduced by more than 50%, but the experience income will also be halved. Once the difference is more than 10 levels, then there will be little gain from killing the monsters. No more. It is precisely because of this characteristic that low-level players are unwilling to kill spiders. Even if they can kill them, they cannot kill monsters for a long time at the spider spawn point. High-level players are easy to kill spiders, and they will get nothing. Which caused the price of poison sacks to rise again and again. From the beginning, no one wanted 10 copper coins. In the later stage, it went up to 80 copper coins per poison sack, and you may not be able to buy much. Lily does have a lot of poison sacks. She has been farming spiders since she was level 20. She did not leave the spider leveling point until she was nearly level 30. There are at least tens of thousands of poison sacks in her bag. Now she heard someone collect them. Poison sack, she stopped. How do you collect it? The young man in black glanced at her, and when he saw that she was a beautiful girl, his spirits perked up. 50 yuan each. He stretched out a palm, and Lily also squatted down. I don't want money. Do you have glass ore? If so, I will exchange it with you. Glazed ore is one of the raw materials specially used to make level 50 weapons. Mineral sources can be found everywhere in the game. Knowing the common use of mines, many people will prepare a small hoe when they are upgrading monsters. When you are tired of spawning monsters, dig for a while. When the male player heard Lily's question, he hesitated. How many do you have? 2 pieces of ore are exchanged for a poison sac. I will exchange as much as you have. As soon as Lily said this, the young man reached out and took out his communicator. He didn't know what he said to that person. It didn't take long. After a while, he put down the communicator. In addition to the glass ore, I also have the earth stone, the devil's eye, etc. Do you want to change it? The stones he mentioned are not only the raw materials for making the level 50 magic wand of power, but also raw stones for making weapons for other professions. Lily nodded, and the young man picked up the communicator again. Soon there were a man dressed the same as him rushed over. Once the 2 parties agreed that the transaction was successful, a contract would naturally be formed. The young man laid out 76 groups of the various ores he said, and Lily took out 40 groups of poisons. After the bag came out, the young man's eyes lit up and he put the things away. Do you still have poison sacks? After the transaction between the 2 parties was successful, the young man asked, and Lily nodded. There are many more. I have opened a shop in the city. If you have ore and still want to exchange it, you can go to come find me here. Lily left him the address of her shop. The young man nodded, and then she left the stall. After wandering around the city for a while and buying some bits and pieces of ore, Lily went to the auction house again and bought all the ores in the auction house. After spending most of the money in her bag, he hurried back to his store. The NPC guarding the store has already arrived. Because the store has not yet opened, he is cleaning there. As soon as Lily came back, she got into the backyard. This time she spent a lot of money to rent the shop. In addition to the alchemy room, there was also a casting room with a casting furnace. Lily lit the casting furnace. When I was about to throw the glazed stone in, I suddenly had a thought in my mind and threw a few earth stones in instead. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1240. The ore quickly melted under the influence of spiritual power. Lily carefully made the ore liquid into the shape of a long sword. When a beautiful long sword engraved with silver patterns came out, she quickly bought one at the auction house. The sapphires that can increase the damage value are added to the hilt of the sword. The long sword floated in mid-air. Lily stretched out her hand to grab the handle, and the attributes of the silver sword appeared in her mind. Producer, Queen. Name, Blade of Loyalty. Attack, 4765. Physical damage value, 13%. Extra damage, 7%. Defense broken, 9%. Level, 50. Quality, good product. Lily had walked around the square before and found many stalls selling weapons. The attack value of the level 50 warrior's weapon Loyal Blade varies between 3800 and 4500 depending on the quality of the weapon itself, but Lily, because of the talent achievement of exquisite craftsmanship, the weapons produced are not only beautiful in appearance, but also have certain auxiliary bonuses, which are much higher than ordinary weapons in attack. She put the weapon aside and spent a whole day refining all the remaining ores into weapons. She practiced physical skills for a while to replenish the spiritual power in her body. She also changed to a level 50 weapon. The Staff of Power then called the NPC to come in, took out all the weapons and placed them on the counter. Lily handed over the store to the NPC, then left the city and ran towards the southeast outside the city. It was getting dark. There was a huge forest in the southeast of Orlando City, called the Dark Forest. This time, Lily did not dare to rashly choose a monster area that was much higher than her own level. As her own level increases, the levels of monsters in the game also increase in strength as the levels increase, and they are no longer as easy to kill as they were at low levels. Lily chose the habitat of the level 51 giant scorpion group and stayed there. Each of these giant scorpions is about the size of a wolf dog. Not only will it spray venom like a spider, but the most important thing is that the pair of giant pincers are extremely powerful. Once caught, the skin and flesh will be torn apart. In severe cases, I'm afraid my hands and feet will be pinched off. These things are extremely poisonous, have thick shells, and have high magic protection. Lily does not dare to attract too many at a time. She only dares to attract 5 or 6 at a time. After killing them, she picks up the giant scorpion's pincers. Will attract new monsters. In this way, 4 or 5 hours. She didn't get many things, but she was exhausted. A lot of physical strength had been used up, and the food that had been prepared long ago was almost eaten. After Lily killed the wave of giant scorpions in front of her, she did not try to attract new monsters. Instead, she sat down and lit a fire. First took out the wolf meat from his backpack. After neatly taking the things and skewering them, he took out the honey from the bag and used his hand as a brush to brush a layer on the wolf meat. The wolf meat was roasted until it was brown, and the smell of honey became even more fragrant when brushed on it. Tangy. She already possesses master-level cooking skills. Even if the ingredients are simple, as long as she bakes it with her hands, the meat juice will keep dripping into the firewood and splashing with strings of oil beads. It smells so good, it smells so good. There was no one else in the territory of the originally quiet giant scorpion group. At this moment, a faint male voice suddenly sounded. Lily turned her head to look. In the grass, a young man with a pale face and wearing a scholar's robe squatted there. There was no sign at all before, so he smelled the smell and came closer. Lily grabbed the staff of power on her right hand and stared at him coldly. "Don't be nervous, don't be nervous." The man waved his hand, and glanced at Lily warily. Finally, his eyes fell on the roasted wolf meat, and he rubbed his hands. "The cold night is heavy, and the hunger in the belly is unbearable. Can you please give me some wolf meat from the heroine, so that I can warm myself up and quench my hunger?" When he opened his mouth, he was full of words. He was neither holding a weapon nor wearing any defensive clothes. He still wanted to eat when he opened his mouth. Lily knew in her heart that there was probably a mission coming to her door. She put down the weapon in her hand, took out a dagger for level 50 assassins that she had just made before, cut off half of the wolf's leg and threw it towards the scholar. The wolf meat was still steaming. When the scholar saw her throwing the wolf meat, he stretched out his hand to catch it and screamed because it was so hot. The wolf meat had only been slightly cooked, and some honey was added for seasoning, but it still maintained the wolf meat. The original flavor of the wolf meat made the scholar obviously very hungry. As soon as he finished eating, he looked over eagerly. Lily cut off another leg of wolf meat. After he finished eating, he still stared at the remaining wolf meat. "Meat, look." Lily simply motioned for him to eat them all. The scholar was overjoyed and didn't say thank you. He took the wolf meat and bit it. He was so anxious that he choked and rolled his eyes. Lily threw another bag of water mixed with honey, but he couldn't make it in time. He thanked him and drank the water. Now that he was full, he stood up and said thank you. Xiaosheng has also learned some skills in observing people since he was a child. When he looks at girls, it seems that there is a seal on them. Coming. When Lily heard this, she curled up her lips and smiled. From the time she entered the game, after she obtained a hidden race, she did have a seal in her attributes. However, she has been playing the game until now and has not been able to find a way to remove the seal. In the plot, there are very few hidden races in Star Overlord. In the plot, Tongbei has only heard of hidden races, but has not seen them with her own eyes. At least in the more than a year she has been playing the game in real life, the equivalent of 5 in the game in the past 6 years, she had never seen a real hidden race. She only heard people say that among the warriors of the Protoss at that time, a warrior named Xing Ji seemed to be a hidden race. How to remove the seal, Lily, I don't know. She was originally supposed to be a dark magician, but because the netherworld power in her body has not been released, so for now she is not a complete dark magician, at most she is a magician, that's all. When she heard the young man asking for food take the initiative to ask this question, Lily knew that her mission might be triggered. She nodded. After eating, the young man no longer looked like the starving ghost he had reincarnated before. He also took a handkerchief from somewhere and wiped his hands. This seal boy can only give a general idea. If the girl wants, if I know more, I'm afraid I'll have to ask Emily. Lily originally thought what kind of words he would say and what tasks he would give her in the end, but she didn't expect that as soon as the young man finished telling the news, he didn't even say who Emily was or where she could be found. He patted his butt and said, "The young man received the gift of meat from the girl today. I cannot thank you enough for the kindness, so I say goodbye. This dark forest is really extremely dangerous after dark. It is not advisable to stay for a long time. Goodbye." After saying this, he turned around and thought. Slip away. Lily paused for a moment. When she came to her senses, her movements were faster than her thoughts. She stretched out her leg and hooked the scholar. The scholar didn't expect her to move so quickly. She was caught unsteadily and fell to the ground with a plop. You hurt Luzi. The crime value is add 2. The law of the city of Orlando warns you that if the crime value reaches 10, you will face jail time. Luzi broke his leg. The player queen's crime value is add 1. The law of the city of Orlando warns you that if your crime value reaches 10, you will face jail time. In the game, hurting people and hurting NPCs are two different things. The game punishes NPCs for hurting players very severely, and the same players are punished for hurting NPCs. Lily really didn't expect this NPC to be so weak. She only stretched out her legs to stir him up, and actually broke his legs. All of a sudden, her guilt value reached 3 points. Her face turned black and she threw him to the ground. Luzi screamed and grabbed him. Who is Emily? Ying, hero, spare your life. Luzi was so frightened that he was foaming at the mouth. Before he could finish his words, he tilted his head and passed out. You scared Luzi to death. Your crime value is add 1, and the reputation of Orlando City is reduced by 10. The law of Orlando City warns you that if your crime value reaches 10, you will face jail time. Lily suddenly had the urge to beat the NPC Luzi to death. Her sin level increased by 4 points for no apparent reason. Once it reached 10 points, the gendarmerie in the city of Orlando would probably be dispatched to arrest her. She suppressed the evil thoughts in her heart, picked up the honey water in the bag and poured it into Luzi's mouth. Stimulated by the cold water, Luzi took a stimulant and woke up again. When he saw Lily, he was frightened. He jumped and was about to dodge when Lily caught him tightly and forced a smile. Zi, are you feeling better? Luzi stared at her blankly without saying anything. Lily took out 100 gold coins from her bag and stuffed it into Luzi's hand. I just caused you to break your leg. I'm really sorry. Take it back to see a doctor. I'm here and healing medicine, you know. Before she could finish her words, a system announcement suddenly rang in her ears. Orlando City warning. Orlando City warning. Orlando City warning. The system issued 3 warnings in a row, and then said, the huge red ant kingdom was discovered in the southeast of Orlando City, endangering the ecological balance of Orlando City and even the dark forest. The Lord of Orlando City issue a proclamation to eliminate the giant red ants, and the city of Orlando will always remember your achievements. Warriors, pick up the swords in your hands and destroy the giant red ants. The city of Orlando and the city lord will always remember your achievements. The same announcement rang 5 times in a row. When Lily came to her senses, Luzi, who had just been fainted and broken his leg, got the strength from nowhere and pushed her hand away. rolled into the grass beside him in a panic, and disappeared. Lily hadn't asked who Emily was yet, and she wanted to go forward to check Luziokai's whereabouts, but the strange thing was that no matter how she searched the nearby grass, Luziokai was just as he came. Suddenly he disappeared without even seeing his shadow. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1241. What I only know roughly at this moment is that in order to unlock the netherworld power seal in her body, you must find a person named Emily. Judging from the name, this person should be a woman. Lily thought for a while and put the matter aside for the time being. Anyway, she didn't have any clue about the mission now, but since she knew that the scholar who just revealed the seal was Luziokai, and she also knew about Emily, she could do it in the future. Ask more slowly. The giant scorpion was a little tired of killing. This was not a good place for leveling. Lily thought of the system announcement, and only hesitated for a few seconds before running in the direction of the coordinates just prompted by the system without hesitation. There are more and more people in the dark forest. As the NPC said in the middle of the night, it is the most dangerous time in the dark forest. At night, except for the ghost tribe and ghost tribe who belong to the race of night, except for the vampires, the attribute values of other races will be more or less weakened. In comparison, the strength of other monsters in the dark forest will be slightly enhanced, so the night should have been in the dark forest. It was the quietest time, but because of the system prompts, the tranquility of this quiet forest was suddenly broken. The system prompt this time was not like the time when Lily killed the Wolf King in Kalen Town, because the location was too remote and no one came for a long time. Due to its special geographical location and the size of the city of Outlander is no less than a medium-sized planet in reality. There are so many people that the system prompts that in less than 10 minutes, Lily in the forest I have already met many coordinates of the place where the giant ant was discovered. It's just that everyone has a tacit understanding and doesn't disturb each other. Lily is running around in the forest. She has good physical strength. And his physical fitness was not bad either. His body was light and fast as he darted through the treetops. Soon, he saw a large number of light spots and voices in front of him. There is a large open space ahead. Lily looked over from a distance, and saw an ancient tree about as thick as a house towering into the clouds. Its crown was like a towering umbrella, tightly wrapping the surrounding trees within its sphere of influence. The system only notified me of the time in about 10 minutes. There are probably 30 or 40 people already standing in the open space below, and there are still many people like Lily who have just arrived. Many people held torches in their hands, and several people in the field were standing back to back, watching the people on the periphery warily. Kinga, don't be too domineering. The system has warned everyone to enter this red ant nest. Although you are powerful, you don't want to be enemies with so many of us, right? A man wearing the complicated clothes of medieval Europe frowned and sneered. The slightly exposed fangs at the corners of his mouth, the skin so white that blood vessels were visible, and the black cloak on his body all proved that he should be a vampire, and he had never been a vampire. Look at the beautiful cloak he's wearing. The strength should not be low. Sci-fi, we are not enemies of these people, but if you want to come here first, Kinga doesn't want to talk to you, but don't blame me for being rude to you. Several people in the team with their backs leaning together were wearing black tights and had faces. Some pale and handsome young men suddenly laughed after hearing what the vampire player said. The young man has a delicate and handsome face. When he smiles, his eyes are curved like two crescent moons, and there is even a small pear pit at the corner of his mouth. It looks gentle and cute. It was just that he was spinning a sharp dagger in his hand. The dagger shone coldly in the firelight, making people dare not underestimate him. Lily stood quietly in the crowd. When she heard these two short conversations, she looked at the team isolated by everyone in surprise. Unexpectedly, there was Ching Ji in that team. In the plot, the original Tong Bei he knew about Qing Ji. It was 2 or 3 years later in the game, when someone first killed the mission NPC and was wanted by the game system. In the game, there are people who have grudges against each other. There are people who kill and fight, and there are also people who kill NPCs. However, the crime of killing NPCs is heavier, and the time spent in jail will be more than the crime value when killing people. Most people, after killing someone, they usually choose to escape from the city to avoid being caught and taken back by the soldiers in the city. But at that time, after the player killed the NPC, Tong Bei he didn't take it to heart at first. There were too many such things in the game. Even Tong Bei he followed the fifth cultivator and others in the game. People fight, usually when they are fighting over monsters and turf, they start fighting over a disagreement. Such a situation is very likely to happen. She originally thought that the unlucky guy who killed the NPC would eventually be captured by the NPC. Now I am so busy with the fifth cultivator and others farming monsters and upgrading every day, where do I have the time to mind other people's affairs? But unexpectedly, one day later, the system issued an announcement again: player Kinga killed the god's chief master of ceremonies in the god-given city of the gods, which alarmed the gods. The Lord of TNC City issued a notice to the entire server to capture Qing Ji and bring him to justice. In addition to receiving a large number of rewards and the reputation of TNC City, the Lord of TNC City will also receive additional personal rewards. Friendship with NPCs in the game is not easy to obtain. The natives in these games have already acquired intelligence and are not friendly to players protected by the game system. Most of the tasks given by NPCs are difficult and have low rewards. That god given the city lord of the city was willing to reward him with a personal collection, which shocked the entire game. Since then, many people in the game have remembered the name Kinga. At that time, Lily Tong remembered the name Qing Ji in her heart for the first time. Before anyone in the game could get Qing Ji's idea, a few days later, the person who wanted to capture Qing Ji died at the hands of Qing Ji's team. The name Ji can be said to be famous in the Star territory. At that time, everyone thought that he would escape from the God Clan's TNC City after committing such a thing, but he did not escape, but did the opposite. The Lord of TNC City was killed and replaced, and the God Clan TNC City was renamed the City of Kinga. He is the first person in the game to replace the City Lord as a player. He has the absolutely tyrannical strength to rewrite the wanted list of TNC City, making people afraid to make plans for him again. He is famous in the game, and there are many legends about him. Later, some people said that he was one of the hidden races in a billion. Some people even speculated about his identity in reality, but none of them have been confirmed. At this time, when the young vampire man called out the name of Qing Ji, many of the people who came around didn't even know who Qing Ji was. His name was not included in the Star Overlord ranking list at all, and his level ranking was not among the top 10. On the contrary, when the handsome young man with a pale face just shouted the word good fortune, it caused a burst of excitement in the crowd. Commotion. Vampire men are also called creations, which naturally reminds people of the vampire clan's creation trick who ranks first in the rankings. Many people have only heard the name of good fortune fools people for a long time and have never seen it with their own eyes. Once Leng Hui saw fortune fooling people, many people were startled, and Lily raised her eyebrows slightly. It was she who saw the fifth cultivator and others in the crowd. The fifth cultivator group also arrived in the city of Outlander early as in the plot. This time they accidentally discovered the huge red ant kingdom nest. Their team also rushed over early. Now the fifth cultivator, who was a warrior of the gods, was wearing a golden armor, holding a giant sword and staring at Qing Ji and good fortune Nongren with vigilance, but did not notice Lily, who had arrived in the crowd at some point. Since the last attempt to find Lily for weapons failed, fifth cultivator has not contacted Lily again. He still looks as handsome and indifferent as Tong Lily remembered, a petite and agile earth girl wearing a white suit. Wearing a priest's robe, She stood close to him, with her clever eyes like a little mouse staring curiously at Ching Ji and the others. When she found the handsome young man who was speaking, two red clouds appeared on her cheeks and she grinned. She laughed. The fifth cultivator next to her looked at her like this and helplessly reached out to cover her eyes. At this time, the fifth cultivator must have developed a liking for her, otherwise with his self-controlled and calm character, he would not be able to make such an intimate move towards someone easily. Lily just glanced at it and turned her head away. Li Yuan, don't think that I don't dare to fight with you. If we actually fight, you may not get much benefit, the handsome young man threatened him like this. In front of so many people, he as the celebrity who ranked first in the level rankings, he was naturally a little embarrassed to get off the stage. His expression became cold, and the corner of his mouth curled up, revealing the eerie thin white fangs on the right side, which shone eerily in the night. Then the young man known as Li Yuan heard the words of Zhao Fanongren and spun the dagger in his hand faster. He suddenly turned into a wisp of light smoke and disappeared on the spot in a flash. Zhao Fanongren obviously didn't expect him. He was surprised that he would take action as soon as he said it. The next moment he moved his arms and rose up from the ground, transforming into a bat the size of a basin, vibrating its wings, grinning and revealing a pair of ferocious fangs. The sharp claws like eagle claws clawed at his lower body. The young assassin boy from the Ghost clan was grabbed by his shoulders out of thin air. The young boy did not retreat but moved forward. With a flexible turn of his body, he rushed up with the help of his hook. The dagger in his hand was smeared towards the neck of Good Fortune like lightning. Past. Fortune spread out his wings and blocked the young man's dagger. He smashed the young man's body out in anger, but the assassin's dagger opened an extremely long and deep gash in his wings, and blood flowed out all of a sudden. Spilled. Thump, thump, thump. After the young man landed, he took 3 or 4 steps back. He raised the corners of his mouth and raised his chin, staring at the creature that had turned into a human form after landing, and the wound slowly returned to its original shape. His eyes were somewhat provocative. To be continued.